Good morning, everyone. I'm up pretty early. This is a response video to Matt Walsh, who I happen to love his content. He's a great content creator. But he did a video recently about Mark Curry. Everyone, in case you guys don't know, you have a comedian, or used to be comedian, black comedian Mark Curry, who was in a hotel, I think, in Colorado. The staff asked him, did he have a room in the hotel? Was he a guest there? So he wound up recording them and saying that they were racially profiling him because he was a black man in the lobby. So anyway, Matt Walsh did a reaction video to Mark Curry's post, because Mark Curry recorded it and put it on the internet, put it on Instagram. So Matt Walsh said that he was, I guess, playing a race card. He was race hustling, that there are a lot of race hustlers out there. And in his comments, I noticed a lot of his audience agreed that a lot of black people turn everything into a racial situation or a prejudice or racial profiling. And yes, I agree with a lot of his audience, but on this area, I'm not sure if I agree with his audience. And let me tell you why I don't agree with, and why I think this is where I think Matt is insensitive, or doesn't really understand how complex the situation is. Racism isn't just this thing where you just get this feeling and you just react to it and you want attention and you use it to hang all your failures on. Of course, we know that there are a lot of people that do that. But let me say this. Let me tell you my experience staying at the Encore Hotel in Vegas, which is a very expensive hotel. And back in 2012, going into 2013, I stayed there New Year's Eve into 2013. I was there with my wife. We were there with another couple that were her friends. I'm the only black person in our entourage. As you guys can hear, speak very well. I dress very well when I go out, especially when I know I'm going to a hotel of that magnitude. The Kardashians were staying there at that time. Kim was in the hotel, and I forgot which other sister was. The Wayans brothers, Mark and Damon, did a show there. We had a lot of powerful people on deck in the Encore. So let me tell you my experience, and I want your audience to tell me if I'm being paranoid or I'm just playing the race card, for those of you that really sometimes I think don't understand how deep this can go. So every time we left the hotel and came back, of my group, I was the only person stopped by security to ask if I was a guest there. When I told them yes, I didn't whip out my cell phone, because we had cell phones with cameras back in 2013. I could have done the same thing, whipped out my cell phone and recorded them. I didn't bother to do that. The first time I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I didn't think anything of it, but it asked me, was I a guest? And I had to tell them what room I was in, and they would go over to the computer. The girl at the desk would go to the computer and look me up to see that I stayed in the hotel. The first time it happened, we go out again, because we were there probably like maybe 3 or 4 nights. I don't remember. It's a while, 10 years ago exactly. We go out for to hang out for a night on the town, because this is when we stayed, and that morning we went out for breakfast. So then we go out a night on the town. We come back in a hotel that night. We're going through, all of us. Mind you, this Encore, I'll admit, there weren't a lot of black people there. Maybe, I'm just saying, pardon me, everyone, I'm actually getting over COVID. I'm not saying that they couldn't afford it, but I know there were not a lot of black people there. So anyway, when I come back to the hotel, all of us again, we go towards the elevator. Security steps in front of me and asks me, are you a guest here? I said, yes. Oh, what room are you staying in? Now, mind you, for everyone out there, how would you feel if you're out with 3 other people that are all non-black, and you're the only person in that group that gets stopped by security every time? Is it a figment of my imagination? So please, I hope some of you chime in and tell me, is this my imagination? So anyway, again, this happens throughout the entire days we were there. We would go out, good time. And I would always make sure, look, I know that it exists. And for those of you that don't know that, for some black people, when they say, there are a lot of black people who say that it's called something a racial incident when it's not. Let's say you're being disruptive in public, or you're standing too close to someone and someone doesn't want you standing too close to them. Or if you're trying to talk to a woman and a woman isn't attracted to you, listen, I'm someone that knows, listen, not every woman is interested in black guys. The same way not every woman is interested in white guys or Hispanic guys. If a woman that's non-black isn't interested in me, I don't think she's a racist. Let's say she tells me I don't like black guys. I've never been told that before, but I'm sure that's probably in my past. There's some women I probably were attracted to and just weren't into black guys. Had they told me that, I wouldn't have cared. That's not your type. I'm not into certain types of women. And I'm not going to let someone call me a racist or say that I'm fat shaming or whatever. I'm just using these examples because I'm not into, or I'm transphobic just because I'm not interested in someone. Right? I know what I like, and I'm going to respond to what I like. Same thing. You know, there was a white guy recently who did a documentary of him touring the country trying to find the perfect woman. He was a white guy, and all the women that he dated on that journey were white or Hispanic or Indian, but they were very fair skinned, and a lot of black women were very angry about that documentary, and they did some replies to it. And my thing is, what's the big deal? If the guy doesn't find you attractive, he doesn't find you attractive. You don't have to turn it into a racial situation. If you're not attractive, you're not attractive. But once again, I circle this back to the audience, you out there. When I explain my situation, when I go to a hotel, expensive hotel like the Encore, I'm one in a group of four. My wife at the time, I'm divorced, Caucasian. Her friend at the time was, I believe, Arab, and her boyfriend was a biracial guy, black and Chinese, but he was bald. So bald-headed, you couldn't see his hair texture. He looks Asian. So of the four of us, every time, let's say we were there 4 nights, we went out for breakfast and hung out at night. I'll say maybe of the 8 times that we have gone out, the 8 times that we've gone out and returned, if I got stopped, I'm the only one in the group that got stopped 6 times to ask if I had a room there, and they had to check to see if I did have a room. They had to give them the room number. Am I being paranoid to say that I was being racially profiled? I would love to know the answer to that, because when I looked at Matt Walsh's comments, there were so many people saying that Mark Curry, he's just playing the race card. He's just doing it for attention. Listen, I didn't like how he responded. I think that him taking out the camera and recording and all the theatrics he did, I thought that was ridiculous. I mean, I didn't do anything. I mean, I could have just as easily, what I would have done, in hindsight, looking at that, I would have just asked what I would have done now in hindsight, reflecting on my experiences. I would have asked for the manager and explained to the general manager, listen, every time I notice of my group, every time we go out, I'm the only one that's being stopped. Can you tell me why that is? Right? Because when you flat out call someone a racist or accuse someone of something, then you sometimes put your foot in your mouth, and if it's not that, right? But I'm 100% sure that's what it was. It would have benefited me had I asked for a manager and asked the manager to tell me what it is. Because now that puts the onus on the manager to explain to me why every time out of my group, I'm the only one being stopped. Tell me something now. I'm not going to call you racist. You tell me what it is. So anyway, I hope you like this video, share, subscribe, and comment. I'm Coach Mitchell H. This is my review channel. I have another channel that's just based on finances, since I'm a real estate investor and I'm a finance coach, and that channel is Coach Mitchell H. But anyway, you'll find me on Instagram, also on Twitter as Coach Mitchell H, and on TikTok, Coach Mitchell H. Thank you.